Now I'd like to give you a very quick overview of Reader, which is a great and highly recommended news feed reader. The first thing you do when you set up Reader is to add an account for yourself. So in the preferences, you go to the Accounts tab, click on Add Account, and then you select the kind of account you want, such as Feedbin, put in your credentials and sign yourself up. I've already done that, which is why you can see here a bunch of folders which are similar to the screencast that I showed you earlier. So essentially this is polling Feedly, and that's why you've got this similarity going on here. The next thing you do is go to the Services tab, and here ensure that you enable or disable what you wish. I don't use readability, so turn that off because I don't want clutter in my user interface. I use Pocket, the reading list perhaps. I don't use Evernote, but I'd like to display it for you. So then I come down, Delicious, it's no longer relevant. AppNet is gone. Twitter, I'm very unlikely to tweet, so but I would like to demonstrate it perhaps, so I'll keep that on. And notice that you can actually export some of your articles into notes or reminders or OmniFocus, and you can add a bookmark. And interestingly, again, you can add bookmarks in Pocket, okay, or Instapaper. So they're available here. So configure this as you like. Nothing very interesting here. The reading, again, is up to you. Here you have a whole bunch of shortcuts that you can set up. So I encourage you to see what shortcuts are available and to get into the habit of using them. One of the main ones is basically browse, so that when you're in an article, you come here, say I want to see this in my web browser, type B, and then lo and behold, I can see this here, and then I could actually scroll through it here. I'm not really interested in this article. However, it's available here. And then what you might do from here or from Feedly, you can then add a bookmark in Pocket. You can add a bookmark in Pinboard with its toolbar here, or you can actually do Command-Shift-P and print it so that you would keep a local copy and not have your content held hostage. Suppose that you wanted to add a new RSS feed. So what would you do? Well, you'd find the RSS feed here. So let's look for XML. I'm looking at this, and this URL actually looks a lot like a feed. So I will copy it and go to Reader. And then what you do is you press the plus button or Command N, paste in the feed, and then do a search. Oh, lo and behold, Reader can find that feed. It's a valid feed. That is not always the case. And then you select where you want it to go. So this would go into Science. It's a Science feed. And then you subscribe. And then bang, you're done. It's actually quick and convenient, and actually faster than doing it using the web interface in terms of being able to configure where the feed is going to go. And then lo and behold, it should be present here. This is the Scientist RSS feed, and then I can go here and see a preview of the article here. So the idea would be to skim this list, see if there's anything interesting, and then when you see an interesting article, rather than read it in line here, you might just send it to Pocket, okay? So let's just do that here. It's saved to Pocket, no option to tag at this point. I could have opened it with a web browser or with B, which is faster. You can mark it, as we did in the Feedly demonstration. And here again, as in the Feedly interface, you can upload this to the services of your choice that you've configured, tweet about it, or whatever. I would, Pinboard's another bookmarking service that we've talked about, so you could very well want to mark it to read later in Pinboard. And if there's something that you want to act on in particular, you might add it to your notes. And then you can add whatever text you want, and it will show up in your notes or in a note folder of your choice. So that's kind of handy. Now, there is a handy search tool down here. You can actually tag things, but what you don't have is the ability to view the highlights that you may have applied elsewhere in Feedly itself, or highlight from here. So as you can see, and as I was mentioning, it's a bit disjointed. So really, if you want to delve material, I recommend that you, as I said before, that you convert it to PDF. And the route to that is either through your web browser, okay, print a PDF. After you've obtained a clean copy, okay, print that to PDF, or put it in Pocket and then filter from there, and then get your PDF from there. And we actually will have some tools to help you streamline that process in due course. Now, another limitation of Reader is that it does not currently enable you to read from Pocket or Pinboard. So you can actually get your content into Pocket and Pinboard, but you can't read it here. And that is something that ReadKit can use. So that's actually a reason to purchase ReadKit. So I actually recommend, if you can afford it, to own both ReadKit and Reader. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that while you're reading content, you can start. Well, I've actually started this one. So let's mark this one as starred. Okay. And then if you wanted to, you can review all of your starred items. So it's like flagging items. So that's another way to create shortlists for you. And what's interesting is that when you do your filtering, it actually shows you on the left here the folders that contain feeds that contain starred items. So it really does help to narrow down the information that you're looking at. And that is, of course, quite handy.